Yo, what is going on, you pickled Porygon? Today, playing some games with Single Strike, and I do think it is the best overall deck in the format, so I want to bring you guys my updated build. And I don't think it's the best deck by a whole ton, just a little bit. And I think its biggest strength is getting those really good matchups against the stuff that is weak to dark and fighting, stuff like the Dragapult, the Shadow Rider, and the Jolteon, sometimes in Eternatus, but that is a pretty rare sight. A pretty rare deck to see these days. But yeah, I still am rocking the heavier Umbreon line with the 4-3, and then I still have a 2-1 Urshifu Single Strike. And this thing can be mixed up a whole bunch depending on what you want to have a bigger advantage against, or like how much more consistently you want to try and get out the Urshifus and so on. The one thing the Urshifu V is really good against is actually Suicune and Zacian, because it just needs 2 Single Strike energy to get a knockout on either of those, as long as they don't have a Cape of Toughness. And we do have a Tool Scrapper and a Tool Jammer to help remove those or deal with those tool cards. I guess Tool Scrapper removes the tool cards. Tool Jammer just kind of negates them, but they do the same thing. They allow us to get that HP reduced by basically removing the extra HP from the Cape of Toughness and making it easier for us to knock them out. So, and then the rest of it is pretty straightforward, pretty standard as far as Single Strike lists go. Nothing special. Still 4 Quick, 4 Evolution Instance, 4 Tower, 4 Urn, 4 Research, 4 Marnie, and a Boss, the usual suspects in the supporter slots. But yeah, this is what I've been rocking as far as Single Strike goes. Like I said, I think it is the best overall deck right now, because not only do you have a huge edge against anything that's weak to dark or fighting, but you also are just fine against everything else. It's kind of crazy how far Single Strike has come as a deck, and how good it is right now. Before we get into the games, just want to give a big shout out to PTCGO store. If you guys need any codes specifically and especially for the PTCGO to PTG Live transfer, if you're trying to get to that 125 unopened items, be sure to go pick up some codes over there. Use code AzulGG. I will be having a video coming out soon once we get like all the information on PTCGO Live. There's still a couple things that we don't know for sure, but once we get all the information on PTCGO Live, I'm going to be coming out with a video just kind of talking about what we know for sure, and then also what you guys want to be doing as far as, you know, making sure you maximize the value you can get from the PTCGO to PTCG Live transfer that will happen when PTCG Live comes out, and who knows when that's going to be. So I wouldn't start worrying about things too much yet. If you want to start doing some trading and making sure you get the products or the items into your inventory, that's one thing, but yeah, don't stress about it too much. We have no idea when PTCG Live comes out, but I will be coming out with a video once we get all the information. But yeah, let's go ahead, let's get into some games and get some dubs with the Single Strike. All right, here we go, getting into our first one here. Looks like we're up against some kind of Ice Rider, probably some Suicunes involved there. We need to open the Urshifu V. The rest of the hand definitely leaves a little bit to be desired. We do have the Crobat, but we don't have a lot of ways to move a lot of these cards out of the hand. So something like a top deck Quick Ball would be really nice, because then we can start to move these cards along. And I'm actually tempted to maybe go with Tower of Darkness first. Yeah, it is a Suicune build from my opponent here. I am tempted to go with Tower of Darkness first to potentially find something like a Quick Ball. And we do have this Ordinary Rod in hand, which will kind of stink to lose if we like draw into a Research and then lose all the Pokemon alongside the Ordinary Rod. So we don't have really a way to recover those, but we'll see what our top deck is, and we'll go from there. It's Capture Energy. That is, you know, feels okay, I guess. We're gonna start with the Tower of Darkness though, I think, for sure. Get rid of one of these Umbreons, see what we draw. Got a Marnie, so that's great. So we can go with the Capture here and get out a Houndour and then go ahead and play the Marnie. So it ended up working out okay, to be honest. Got the Marnie, get to shuffle those cards back into the deck, see some fresh stuff, couple Dowers and an Umbreon. So let's see, they can do 120, 140 so far. And I'll do 20 from my own Houndour. I think I just want to bench one Houndour, because I definitely want to knock out their active here, or attempt to. So I think I'm comfortable with just one Houndour, and the next turn we'll go Umbreon, Houndour, attach, look for a Doom, and then go for that Impact Blow for the knockout. I think is fine. But if I bench too much, it gets to the point where like Quick Shooting could start to clean it up, because right now they're doing what, 120, 160. I'll be 180, so I only have 40 HP left on this thing after I excel to it once through the Houndoom. So this feels like it's probably the best way to go. And this also means that they can't go Boss, KO, Houndour, and then I can't attack next turn. It's another thing we want to play around, because if I only bench one Houndour, if they just have Energy plus Drizzile and just go, okay, KO your Houndour, and now I know you can't attack next turn, that's going to be pretty bad for us. So this feels about the best way to kind of tackle the situation. Now we're just kind of hoping my opponent doesn't find a Cape of Toughness. That's what I was talking about in the intro in this matchup against the Suicune decks. Cape of Toughness is really, really good for my opponent. Really, really good. Very good. Very good. So we're hoping they don't find a Cape of Toughness. We'll see what they do get here. But yeah, we're really hoping they don't see that, because that would make things a little bit harder. We could just still hit them for 100 or 220, but that does give him an extra turn to use this as an attacker, which definitely is something my opponent will want to be able to take advantage of. So we would like to be able to get the knockout here for sure. And here comes the Shady Dealings. I can't imagine what they would get besides a Cape of Toughness. It's also possible we did see the Ice Rider in their build. They might not play Cape of Toughness. I think some of the Ice Rider builds generally, and this is where some of the space comes to fit the Ice Rider in, is they don't play the capes. And they go for this pass to the peak, so trying to be aggressive with that. The only thing that really shuts down for me on my turn is Crobat, though, so it's not really locking me out too much. So not unnecessary, I guess, on my opponent's side, but I feel like it's not really doing as much as it could. And we even top deck a Tower of Darkness, so we're right back in it with being able to draw cards through that. And yeah, so we just need a Houndoom and to hopefully not draw into 3 of our single strike energy, and we drew into none, so that's perfect. Let's see here. Go ahead and check with this. I'm gonna grab a Houndoom. And then I do kind of want a Tower of Darkness. What do I want to set up as my next attacker, though? We did prize our second Urshifu V. So, I mean, that kind of makes it straightforward, I guess. We got to set up an Umbreon. Like, we don't really have a choice. I would like a choice. Do not have a choice. The question is, what do I want to Tower of Darkness away? I'm leaning towards the VMAX, but I still might want that later on, especially if I pull the V out of the prize cards this turn. So I almost want to get rid of the Houndoom, but I want to use this. Let's use the Single Strike Roar. We definitely want to use Tower of Darkness, but I don't want to get rid of a Tower of Darkness. I think I'm leaning towards getting rid of the V here. But I would want to do this to thin out that other Single Strike energy first. Yeah, get rid of the V Max, I'm sorry. Because we still have the Ordinary Rod left, so we could still recover it at some point. So I think I'm going to get rid of the V Max here. Definitely want to use it, that's for sure. And there's an Urn. That's really the big card we are looking for this next turn. Impact low for the knockout. Yeah, it really is so much more efficient to use the Urshifu V into something like the Suicune. Or like I mentioned, into something like the Zacian. Because, yeah, just 2 Single Strike energy compared to 3 is a big difference on trying to hit that. Because if we have, like, double Houndoom in play, that'll search out too. But even if we have triple Houndoom in play, we also need 3 Single Strike energy in the deck, which can be hard to do when Urn only recovers 2. So eventually our Single Strike energy make their way to the discard pile or their prize or this or that, right? And it can just become hard to kind of track them down, find them, get them into play, and so on. So it really is, it really is the two the 2 energy that the Urshifu takes definitely makes a big difference. Oh, only needing 2 Single Strike energy is what I should say. All right, second Suicune online for my opponent. Not gonna have to worry about this Urshifu getting hit too hard or like having it be, you know, like KO'd by quick shooting or anything at this point. I think it's got 80 HP left, and they don't even have a quick shooting online yet. The Suicune will be able to get the knockout, but I don't think they have too much. Ooh, they're gonna need a little bit more than that. So they do Marnia, so we do lose our Urn. It's a pretty big deal. We do need to find an Urn. We still have 4. One is on the bottom of the deck now, but we drew into one off the top, so we should be all good to get this KO. We do want to set up another attacker because we don't want to just like not. We need another attacker to be able to potentially deal with, I don't know, third Suicune. Like I said, we did see the Ice Rider from my opponent, so that is something to have to worry about as well. Still, there's another path to the peak, but we have the Urn, so it shouldn't matter too much what my opponent's got going on here. Here comes the Level Ball, another Sobble. That's fine. Not too worried about that. And then we'll see. Do they even get another attacker to the bench here? I guess I could attack with an Inteleon next turn, but if they don't get another... Okay, there is the Inteleon. So I'm sure they're going to grab a quick ball here to start setting something up. Get something on the bench, getting it ready to go. We'll see what they grab here, though, off this Shady Dealings. And actually, if they go for... the Calyrex V... I'm pretty sure I saw an Ice Rider in their build. If they go for a Calyrex V here, we might want to... Yeah, there's a Calyrex V. We might want to try and Gust and KO that. We do need to find another Tower of Darkness to be able to pull that off. Because they did get this path to the peak out. But yeah, Gust and KO this because this thing has a lot more HP than the V. If not, we have to try and recover the Urshifu V and try and make it into a V Max on the following turn to get the 1-hit KO. So that would be quite a bit to do. Our V and our V Max are in the discard pile. So that'd be pretty tough to pull off, to be honest. We did get the third we are getting the third Houndoom in play though. So that would make things a little bit easier, but we'd have to find the Ordinary Rod this turn. Not that it's impossible, but it feels like it would be a little bit tough to make that work. But we're going to try for it here. I don't think I want a 4th Houndour. I'm thinking if I do, but I think I want the bench space to be open. Crobat and the V, because we might have to Crobat and V this turn. Yeah, so I think I just want the bench space to be open here. I will use these Houndooms first, and like I was saying, we need triple energy to make this thing get a 1-hit KO on this week. It's not a huge deal, but having to work a little bit harder can be difficult. Got the Rod, got a Capture Energy, so we can recover them. Okay, this is big. Yep, so we're gonna recover these 2, Urshifu V and the V Max. We could maybe make this work here. Do I want to evolve this? It would have 250, so they would have to use all their energy to get the knockout. I'd rather save it around to have it as a gust effect on the other one. Yeah, so we'll capture here. We'll get that Urshifu V. We've got an urn in hand as well. I have a tool scrapper. I don't want to play it quite yet. Can single strike roar. There's no energy left, but we can just take a look at the deck real fast. Okay, so we need to get double urn and an energy attachment and the VMAX. So there's quite a bit to get, actually. And Moonlight Blade for the knockout. If I could use the ability here, they have the path to the peak and play. Otherwise, I would definitely VMAX and knock out the Ice Rider. Single strike energy off the prize cards is big, and an energy, actually. So we're just a VMAX away at this point to get the attack off. And we have 2 Evolution Incense and the VMAX left. They are going to be using Melanie, which means they're not using Marnie. So we get to keep the hand here as well. So it's looking pretty good. Here comes the VMAX. We do we need quad single strike? No, we need 3 single strike energies. Like, do we need 4? No, we need 3 of them. So we're just the Urshifu VMAX short. And even if we whiff, we can actually kind of stall out for a turn and just leave a 1 prize on the active, because my opponent will go down to... That's, like, I guess, another reason to have the VMAX on. Or I guess I could have VMAX, and then my opponent... they are using a fan of waves here. That's not a big deal. It does throw it back to the deck, which I actually don't like, because that means it's going to be... I could draw into that instead of the VMAX now, to be honest. So I don't like that because of that, but it's really not a huge deal. We can definitely... We'll survive, basically. We'll survive. But yeah, I could end up leaving a 1 prizer in my active at the end of this turn. So we have that as an option, and just hope they don't get boss. It's pretty likely they have boss, especially with the Drizzile open, but we will be playing Marnie, so it is possible they whiff. With their current hand, I would just kind of assume. Actually, we top deck Research now, but I don't think I can afford to play the Research because I need to put this single strike energy back on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I need to put the single strike energy back on the bottom of the deck. So I don't think I can afford to play the Research here, unfortunately, although I would definitely like to. Single strike roar, single strike roar. Taking a look through. What do we have? 2 incense and the VMAX. It's all there. And I'm not going to evolve this either, because if we get a Stadium Pump plus another VMAX, we could like bring this up after the Marnie, and potentially that makes my opponent whiff for the turn. So here we go, Marnie. Do we find the VMAX? No VMAX. We can get the single strike energy out, like I mentioned, but no VMAX. And no, we did get a quick ball, but no Stadium. So we can't draw more cards this turn. So it looks like we are leaving the Houndoom in the active. The question is, do I want to use this single strike roar? Do I want to kind of hold off on it? I think I'll just go ahead and use it. It is on the bottom of the deck, though, actually, right now. So maybe I don't want to use it. It'll be on the bottom of the deck next turn as well. So I'm going to go and throw down the... do I want to throw down Tool Jammer here? Yeah, sure. Why not? Get another thing out of the deck in case they Marnie us. And... Fortunately, whiff on the VMAX, pass over to my opponent. Do they have the boss? I think it's pretty likely they'll have access to a boss here, because they just need a Drizzile. Or if they play like another Shady Dealings Inteleon, they could get that. Or just have the boss, and there it is. Boss up my Umbreon V, and we do lose one. It was a close one. We whiffed the VMAX at the end there. Yeah, very close one. We had a really nice setup on that turn as well. Got the energy and stuff off the prize cards. That all worked out really well. And then, yeah, whiffed the card, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, let's go ahead, let's get into another one. Here we go again, going second in this one. And our hand is a little bit slow, but we still have that Tower of Darkness to work with to draw some cards, and then hopefully, that leads to a draw support. Our opponent also mulliganed at least once. We are up against Dragapult, which is a pretty good match. I feel like whenever I play against Dragapult, my opening hands are always a little bit weird / slow, but I always end up winning anyways, because the matchup is so good for our deck. But yeah, I always feel like whenever I play against Dragapult, the matchup always starts off weird and slow. But let's see if we top deck another. Okay, this has gotten too wonky. Yeah, too wonky. I think we're gonna start with the Tower of Darkness on this Umbreon VMAX here. Oh yeah, nothing changed. Nothing at all. We can put the Tool Jammer down here to put this on here to then Crobat for 2. Could also attach this to here. And then Crobat for 3, which I'm leaning towards a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, this is how it feels like all of my starts go with in this matchup. It's like always starts out, like, what's going on? Are we going to be able to win this? Feels weird. But it's looking fine now. They do have the potential to KO one of my Houndours on their next turn. And I'm sure they're going to want to do that. So I almost don't even want to bench this Umbreon. I could retreat to the Umbreon, and then if they whiff the Zigzagoon, which they definitely could, and then we could just like get the attack off next turn. It'd be like an energy short as of right now, but we have a tower at the very least to work with. I could also retreat to the Crobat, but I don't play a ton of other switching cards. So I'm almost like comfortable with letting the Umbreon take the hit. Do I want to do that is kind of the question here now. I think I'm just going to retreat to the Crobat and pass. I don't even want to be able to put damage on my Umbreon either, because like if they whiff the goons, then they might just put some damage on my Umbreon. I think next turn we'll just play to put some energy on my Umbreon and go from there. And yeah, it's pretty likely they'll have out to the Zigzagoon. Like if they get the Max Phantom, getting the Zigzagoon is kind of the easy part of everything. Here comes a Marnie from my opponent, so we'll see if they'll be able to pull what they'll be able to pull off. They also have no Sobble in play, so they won't have access to that oh so important Drizzile that sets up so much. And their second Sobble, that is not what's it called, so that's good for us. You guys know what I'm talking about. And there's just a Shred for 60, so this is actually like super good for us. Gonna go ahead and Evolution Incense. We're gonna grab one of those Houndoom. Evolve. And we want to evolve both. So I'm gonna evolve this one. I'm gonna throw down this Umbreon. I'm gonna capture energy out another Umbreon. We're gonna throw down another Houndour, and then go ahead and play the Marnie. And then if we get Switch Card Plus, we did not get Switch Card Plus. We actually drew into a Single Strike energy, which is not great. I maybe should have actually used that first. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this, but keep the towers around. Yeah, keep the towers around. It's actually not that bad that we drew into an energy, to be honest. And then pass. Yeah, keep the towers around to keep some Paths of the Peaks out of play. But yeah, we're in exactly the exact spot we want to be. Like, we didn't attack turn 2, but this matchup is so good, it doesn't really matter. We need to find an energy next turn. I forgot this can only be attached to Single Strike Pokemon. I was like, I can just attach Retreat, but I can't do that. But if they do Max Phantom, they do KO my Crobat. So that sounds fine to me, but it sounds like, or it seems like they're probably going to have to go for some kind of boss play for sure to give themselves a chance in this one. So with this Drizzile, I highly doubt they will not be getting a boss here unless they have a boss in hand, because it definitely feels like they're just going with a Marnie here. But yeah, if they Max Phantom, they knock out my Crobat, which allows me to send up the Umbreon and gets me a pretty easy attack here. So this is exactly what I want to see. The draw is okay. Oh, Crushing Hammer. Okay, Tails, love to see it. Now here comes that question. Here comes a Quick Ball. Probably gonna get the Zigzagoon this time out. No, another Dragapult is gonna like Zigzagoon, right? Nope. So they're gonna go with the Max Phantom. They're gonna knock out my Crobat here, and the question is like, where are they gonna put the rest of this damage? And I like, they should know I can get the response knockout, no problem. So they'll probably put some here, but I can still VMAX this and actually protect this energy that'll be here on my next turn. So I can go like attach. We can like Houndoom to the bench one maybe. And then if we get a VMAX here, protects the energy for the turn. We have Marnie plus Tower of Darkness to use. They didn't get that Paths of the Peak out. So we'll probably start our turn with Tower of Darkness on this Urshifu. We'll probably still play the Marnie, of course. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. Spreading out the damage quite a bit here. No Horror energy here. So Moonlight Blade will get the knockout. We'll still have 150 HP left. I will VMAX this, I think, if I get one. I don't think it's... Oh, I should have used this. Yeah, I got the... I should use Single Strike. Actually, this energy was on the bottom of the deck, I believe, so it doesn't matter too much. Evolve. I'll bench this. Nope, no Gust. Just want the extra HP there, basically. Make sure it survives another turn, which just means like they can't KO. And if they like, that's one of their ways to win this game, to be honest, is for them to just get the KO on this, and then from there I kind of whiff setting up another Umbreon. I could have not benched this, to be honest, because this thing can't retreat. So this does open an opportunity for my opponent, not my boss. My opponent to kind of boss trap this. As we get the switch out of the prize cards, of course, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. And I knew I had the second Air Balloon in the deck, I believe. So like there is an out to move it, but it could have gotten stuck for a turn or two because I am out of Single Strike energy in the deck. So I can't go like, Single Strike Roar plus Attach Retreat, which maybe means I shouldn't have Single Strike Roared here, to be honest, and should have just left that in the deck. That way I could have the opportunity to go Single Strike Roar plus Attach Retreat. But because I did put one over here, I kind of lose that option of a play. So I probably should have not done that there and probably just left it in the deck, to be honest. I do have a switch out, but like, especially knowing that if I VMAX this, or even if I don't VMAX this, I need so little to set this thing up on the following turn. It's really not that big of a deal if I don't get any energy on it right now. So I probably could have chilled just a bit off that. Thankfully, we do pull the switch out of the prize card, so the potential for some kind of boss play is pretty low, and it looks like they're actually going with a Raihan here anyways. Triple Drizzy on the board now. And yeah, they're going for a Raihan play, but it's kind of in a weird spot because they have this in the active. I assume they want to go with a Jet Assault. But Jet Assault is going to be weird here because it's only doing 60 damage. And if they VMAX, we just win the game. So VMAXing never makes any sense for my opponent here. But Jet Assault also in the current situation doesn't do enough. So I'm very curious to actually see what my opponent ends up doing here. They're taking their time on this shady dealings. There's a path to the peak. Okay. I mean, that's not going to do a whole ton, I don't think. Okay, more cards are coming out here with this next shady dealings. I've actually thought about this matchup. Okay, some crushing hammers. Okay, so now they're pretty much fully relying on crushing hammer. Raihan. I wouldn't be surprised if they grabbed a third crushing hammer off this Raihan. Although you probably want to see how the first two go. No, they're just evolving. So they're 100% all in on crushing hammers here. They get a heads. Okay, so it's working out for them so far. Remove my capture energy. They need another heads though. They do get it. So now I need an earn and an energy. Once again, going back to if this thing wasn't attached here, it'd be a little bit easier for me to like set up an attacker. So once again, probably shouldn't have attached this here. That was definitely a mistake. But not the biggest of deals. Okay, what do we top deck? Air balloon, not bad. That's all of our switch cards. So I'm gonna go tool scrapper this. Switch air balloon here to try and make sure everything is as mobile as possible. Give it the Urshifu. We still have 3 Tower of Darkness, so I do want a card in my deck that the tower can find. The tower can discard. My bad. But we have plenty of those, I think, overall. Yeah, 3, and then there's like 4 earn. Like we'll probably draw into something. We really just need to draw into an earn. I mean, if we just draw into an earn here, we literally we need to earn and an energy. There's an energy. There's an earn. So that's it. Earn and energy. That is the dub. Earn to the deck. But yeah, don't put that extra single strike energy in play. Just kind of hold on to it. Don't put on that Umbreon because it does open up opportunities for my opponent to make some cheesier plays here. Didn't end up mattering in this one as we KO the VMAX, get the dub. But they had a line there. They did have a line there. Double crushing hammer, double heads. Wasn't quite enough though. And we actually prized through energy. So actually, that was actually a little bit less likely than I thought. But that's a dub. That's gonna do it for the games with the single strike deck. Like I said, guys, I think it's the best deck in the format overall, but not by a whole ton. Just barely. Edges out the other top decks in the format. Yeah, really no bad matchups, and then some really good matchups like that Dragapult matchup. If you guys need codes, PTCGO store.com. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you tomorrow.